Okay guys, this is a different type of vlog. And I know that's weird for some of you because you like hiking videos and kids, but we have to vlog about the things that we care about and the things that are on our minds for this whole thing to work. So this is a weird topic, but I'm done disclaiming it. I just want to tell the story. I sold a number of businesses years ago, like I guess 2 or 3 years ago, and then, well, most of them 2 or 3 years ago. And that gave us enough money to kind of like retire and not have to think about working for money. And we don't have a traditional way of viewing money anyways. Like we don't have college funds, we don't have retirement funds, hell, we don't even have health insurance. So when we sold this money like goes into a giant pot and it just gets used for life. I mean, it's how we pay ourselves to live. When this virus thing hit, you know, and stock market went down like crazy, I had this chunk of money that we we need, but we don't really need. Like, it's part of our long-term strategy. It's like the same way you need a retirement. You don't need it, but it's just like sitting there. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to invest a chunk of that into the stock market. And I don't know anything about the stock market. I bought stocks once in my entire life, but I know enough to know, like I watched this like Warren Buffett documentary and he's like, buy when other people are selling, sell when other people are buying, or something like that. So I see the stock market going down. I decided to spend a week just like researching it and put a chunk of our net worth into this, thinking, oh, if it does good, I can actually make like a year's worth of money or income off of like 1 week's worth of work. So I spent a week or two setting up an account and like calling some friends up that I trust, buying some stocks, and investing a fairly big chunk, like more than 6 figures, I don't want to get into the exact numbers, into the stock market, into sectors that I felt like, I mean, it's like, I don't want to come across as knowing what I'm talking about, but it's like either the world's gonna burn and these companies are gonna go massively bankrupt, or I'm gonna see like a 5 times return on my money as long as I have the patience to wait 1 or 2 or 5 years. And I do have the patience. So I did that a number of weeks ago, after I released my book actually, because I just use like the work block times to like now research stocks that I write about in the book. And then like yesterday I looked to see how they're doing, and I've been keeping an eye on it, but I noticed like in one day I made $10,000. That was like at the morning time. And then I looked again in the afternoon and it was up to $12,000 that I made that day. And it's like, how do you like think about that? You know, it's just so crazy. And if you're not familiar with the stock market, or I just want you to know that I know this, that money is not guaranteed at all. Like the stocks are going like crazy. So like, I'm counting on the fact that from here to here, it'll be back up here in like 2 years to 5 years. But in the meantime, it has a million of these, and I don't know how to play these. I don't understand that game at all. That's more like day trading. But I feel like I have a fairly high confidence in this general like trend. So then I looked at it again today. It was up now a total of $19,000 as of this morning. And then right before I made this video, I was like, oh, I'll look one more time. My investment is up a total of $23,000. That's how much I made. Made Monopoly money until I cash it out. I made that in 2 days, $23,000, which is just like crazy. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how I'm thinking through that and how I've thought through this in the past to get me to this point. because I noticed these feelings coming up in me. Like instantly, I'm like, holy crap, like $23,000. It really makes me want to learn the stock market more and put more money and more time. And I know it's like partially just like luck or whatever. But I also know there is skill involved in investing, and with a lifetime of knowing like when and how to spot things, you can gain an edge on certain markets. And in that way, what I've learned is that money is like basically a game. Some people are really good at it. I am pretty good at it. For a lot of years, I didn't want to be. I denied that, but from like in high school, I like cut coupons and I learned all the supermarket locals. They're like coupon promotions where they did like double coupons and manufacturing coupons, and found out what was on sale. And I would like go to the grocery store on my rollerblades and come home with like Mountain Dew and deodorant and toothpaste. And I remember like I got like 8 items once and I paid like 19 cents for it. Because it was like a game, it was something I enjoyed. And then I went on to play the game of blackjack, and that's like very literally a game. But even the finances behind it, you know, I led people that made millions of dollars doing this game, and I raised funds from investors, and then I started this other business. I mean, this was like crazy because this was like the peak of finances for me, and this is the point of the video that I want to get into. We were actually making videos for clients like Google and Facebook, and I kind of grew up with a Christian perspective, you know, like in Bible college and stuff. I made these like vows where I was gonna like spend no money for a month or try and live off of $5. And we got married, we didn't register for any gifts at all because I wanted to like move to Africa and I think like basically be broke. And I thought money would corrupt me. So I was really against accumulating stuff or money. So even though I was kind of good at it, I like tried to shut it off. You know, we were so broke. And I'll never forget when we were biking across the country in our first or second year of marriage. Dove was 1, she's 18 now. And we were living off of $10 a day, the 3 of us, me, Cammie, and Dove. That's when we discovered the Appalachian Trail, actually. And that was like some of the best times of our life. Fast forward 10 years, and I'm playing at a blackjack table, and I'm watching. I mean, the biggest session, I lost $86,000 in maybe like an hour and a half, but we also won a lot. And then I spent a year, this is like a total side note. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up, except for it just shows like how, I guess, my mind works. I spent a year living off of a dumpster. We ate food out of a dumpster. It was like the best food, some of the best food we'd ever eaten at the time. Even though we could afford it, it was just like a fun game. It was like free, and I loved maximizing profits and minimizing waste and things. And then when I founded this video company with some friends, and I was making so much money, so much. I remember like one phone call, I was like on the airplane, I talked to some guy and I was like, yeah, we can do it for, it was a Google contact. I said, we can do it for, you know, 80,000. He's like, well, 60's the most I can pay you. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it for 60. And it was gonna take me like 8 hours of time or something to get $60,000. That was like just our life. But what happened in that time period, we had 4 kids at that time, and I was making, I don't know, I calculated at one point, but I think at one point I was making like $1,000 an hour, like times 8 hours a day for the entire year. And in one sense, I never wanted money, but I always kind of thought, oh, if I had money, it would make my life so easy and nice, and I could do what I want. And in a way, we totally could. Like, we didn't eat out much our first 10 years of marriage, but now all of a sudden we could go to Olive Garden like every day. We could go there like every meal. And I remember our family, we went to Hawaii together. I think we went to like Disney World or the Bahamas or something like that. And those were the types of things that felt like rich people do. And now that we are rich, we could do all these things. But something else started to happen too. I was not able to say no to business opportunities because I was like, oh, I don't know how long this is gonna last. So I gotta say yes to everything. Like anytime a client says, hey, can we have a phone call at 6? I was like, yes. Or anytime I thought I could sell a video deal, I was like, yes. To a point where I'm prioritizing all of these things over really anything else. Over my family, my time with my kids, over any personal goals. I mean, physically, I was the most overweight I'd ever been in my life in this time period. I hired a personal assistant. These are just a few funny stories. I hired a personal assistant to play tennis with my kids because I didn't feel like I had enough time to play tennis with my kids. And I did have time, I could afford it, but in a way, when you know that you're making $1,000 an hour and you feel like that $1,000 an hour is gonna help invest into your kids and your family in the future, I felt like I was doing everyone a favor by saying no to the kids, and they're able to play tennis with someone else, and I'm making money, which is what I was good at, so that someday we could spend quality time together. So I was always saying yes to every business opportunity. And the more money that I was making, the harder it was to say no because these crazy deals started coming in. Like I said, there was a phone call where it was $60,000 or $80,000. And then there was another phone call that I got once where some guy was like, hey, fly out to California, I'll pay you $10,000. So now if you say no to these things, it feels like you're almost committing some sort of financial suicide or something like that. Things were just crazy out of proportion. And in this time period, I started to see or feel maybe that no amount of money was going to make me feel like I could then stop and hang out with my kids. Because the more I made, the more it felt like I needed. The game itself, when you don't step outside of the game and when you just see the game for what it is, it's there's no ending to it. You always feel like you need to win, and to win, it's just the answer is more. I had some fortunate or unfortunate things happen where I basically kind of was forced into retirement. I lost my opportunities to work in the business, and I didn't want that. I wanted to stay busy, but I quit that and ended up making videos and staying home with my family instead. That was what that led to. In the course of doing that, I can now kind of see what was going on in my mind in that time that I was playing that game and making a ton of money. The irony also was that I always wanted to make video. In high school, I made videos at churches, a lot of videos. I edited these videos and put punk rock music to it. And I went to Russia to make videos, and I went to Costa Rica and made videos, and people hired me. I remember the first time someone paid me $100 to film a wedding, and I couldn't believe that I got money to do this thing. I felt guilty for taking the money. I offered to do it for free, but they gave me $100. I didn't even know them. I guess the thing that now I'm asking, because I'm writing a book, I'm writing multiple books, I'm hanging out with my kids, I'm at home, and now I see this money pouring in from the stock market, and I know there's a game. It's right here. It's one click away. I could be playing it. I could probably be getting better at it. I might even be able to beat it. I don't know. But the thing that helps me right now stay focused is asking the question, what's the money for? What's money for? If I make a ton of it, what do I plan on doing that I can't already do now? The reason why I told that other story about when I was making so much is I realized that when I was making more money than I ever knew what to do with my life, it didn't allow me to do more of the things that I actually wanted to do. It just kept me in a cycle of basically babysitting my money and making more of it. And then when you make a lot of money, a lot of people don't realize it, but it does introduce a lot of problems. Like people start coming to you and asking you for money. You have to hire lawyers, you have to hire accountants. It feels irresponsible if you don't have more insurance and health insurance and life insurance. And we had all those things, and it still never felt like enough. A lot of people right now, they feel like maybe they don't have enough money and they feel like money is the answer to their problems. And I'm not here to tell you that it's not. Like, I don't know your situation. Like, some people legit might need more food or might, need a bigger house or some stuff. But I do know this. However you answer the question of what is this money for, I think it'll determine how you play the game now. Like why you go to work and what you feel like you can miss. Because in that time period when I was making so much money, I didn't feel like it was optional. I didn't feel like I could quit. I had headaches all the time. My back was constantly sore and I felt like I should be getting like weekly massages just to deal with the stress, even though I never did it because I was kind of a cheapskate. Now, my answer to the question is, what is the money for? There's kind of like two answers that I have. One is, it's for relationship. I want to be able to facilitate environments and time that help connect me with the people that I want to be the closest with. For me, that's my wife, my kids, my parents, and a few other select friends and family, but not very many. The second thing I want to do with my money is I would like to use it to share a message or multiple messages of things that are on my heart. And part of this is for the world, to make the world a better place and all that yada yada. Part of that is just because it's part of my own health and it helps bring me sanity to express the things that I feel like I strongly believe and that have helped me. Now, when I conclude that that's what the money's for, and I look at my bank account now, I'm like, I have enough money to do that right now. So any amount of money that I spend on the stock market, any amount of time that I spend on the stock market, for the most part, is gonna be a distraction, or another way of looking at it is just like an excuse to not do those things that I say I care about right now, which is connect with family or connect with relationships and do like my creative work of expressing myself. So it's very tempting to look at that game and be like, man, that's a fun game. Because it is. And I'm not even saying it's a bad game or it's a wrong game. I'm just saying I think being aware of what the end goal of the game is very important to keep in mind as you're playing the game. Because that's the thing about sporting events is like, you play baseball and you pour your heart out on the field, but it's done after 9 innings and you walk away from it. With money, a lot of the pressure I think I used to feel, I thought, oh, once I become a millionaire, that pressure will go away. Because I remember when I was in kindergarten hearing that Donald Trump or someone was a millionaire, and that seemed like such a magical number, a big deal. I remember the day my bank account number, it crossed over into $1 million, and I watched it happen, and it made me feel good for about 5 seconds until I realized I couldn't talk to anyone about it because it just sounded like bragging, and there's like not really many people you can share that moment with. Like if you post it on Facebook, I just became a millionaire, people are gonna be like, you're an asshole. So it's a really lonely thing to even talk about money. But basically none of my problems went away. I felt the exact same the day after I became a millionaire as the day before. Nothing changed. So I needed to figure out a way to ask the question, when did the game end? When do I stop devoting 20 hours a week or 40 hours a week to making more money? When is it enough? Even for people that are only making $60,000 a year out there, $50,000 or $40,000, seriously, how much do we really need to accomplish the things that matter to us? I feel like The two things that I talked about, connecting with family and making my art in the world, I feel like I could probably do that for around $20,000 a year. I mean, I could do it out of a closet. I could do it out of a cardboard box. And I know this because some of the best time in our entire life, we have an entire video out here that's just dedicated to every single penny that we spent and made hiking the Appalachian Trail. And it was $10 a person a day was what it cost us. And that was the most bonding thing our family's ever done. That's $80 a day. So you could figure that out. What's 80 times 30? $2,400 a month is what it cost us. So you could multiply that by 12 and figure out, I don't know, I don't want to get into comparing it. I guess I just want to say the things that are truly valuable to me, they're hard, but they don't cost money. So as I made this like crap ton of money on the stock market, I'm thankful. I'm really glad. I think it will further enable us to live a lifestyle that's really, I don't know if I'd call it luxurious, but I feel really free and I feel super happy and blessed and thankful and all these things. But most importantly, what I want to do is I spent a week thinking about the stock market. I might spend another week just because I do enjoy it. I think the game is fascinating and I think I'm good at it and I like using my brain in that way. And I like learning and being educated. But I want to always keep in mind what the money is there for me. And those things can change. But right now, if I got sucked into the game of just making more money, I think it would take away from things that I really, like anyone can make more money, but I don't want to die with a sack of cash. I want to die loving the people around me the most and having put my best work out into the universe. That's how I want to die. And for me, playing the stock market more, or if it wins 50,000 tomorrow or loses 100 tomorrow, that doesn't impact that to me. And I know the numbers could be distracting. Other people have different numbers, but I think everyone has a number. And that number is, what do you need to live off of? And then what do you need to like do what you want? And if you don't know that number, there's a good chance, at least in my experience, you're gonna keep on working like crazy thinking that the number is just more. It's somewhere out there and someday you'll make some amount of money and you'll finally be able to do your thing. And I've learned that no amount of money was able to do that for me. If you wanna know what the money is for that you're working towards, one suggestion would be to look at your life right now on how you currently spend your money. There's a good chance that the more money you make, the more you're gonna spend it just on those things. And those aren't bad things. This is just like a reality check. But it's just like, if you spend a lot of money entertaining yourself and on Netflix, the more money you make, the more money you're gonna spend entertaining yourself. That's like, just like kind of a logical conclusion. Nothing's gonna magically change that just because you make more money. So the second thing this causes me to ask is like, if you know what you wanna do, is it possible to start doing those things now instead of using money as an excuse? Whether it's like bucket list things like adventuring or traveling or writing a book or making videos, making a vlog, starting a podcast, or maybe it's more relational things like going on a date or telling someone you love them, or you know, being vulnerable with your kids, or spending time picking up a hobby. I have this thing in front of me, like I have enough money to get through the year, and it's still hard for me. When I see this type of money come in from the stock market, I'm tempted to think, oh, I'm gonna put the writing on hold, I'm gonna put the kids on hold, and I'm gonna go make a bunch of money so that I could do more writing and hang out with my kids more. When it's like really, you're just being a pansy and trying to avoid writing. Because you don't need more money to write your book. Just write your damn book. But it's hard for me to write the stuff I mean, I'm writing this Appalachian Trail book, which is just going to kick ass. It's going to be good. But it's not even the hard stuff. I mean, there's some hard things in there, but my hardest and most favorite things to write, that's like a walk in the park compared to the other stuff that I feel like I want to write. And I don't need more money to do that. I just need to get the balls and the time. All right. I know this is a longer video. I hope this is helpful to you guys. I know it's weird to mention numbers and it's easy for that to be distracting, but I also just don't want to be vague. I want to tell the story, but I think that there's principles that probably apply to everyone in some way, shape, or form. So I hope that those principles are helpful for you to see money as a game. It's a necessary and it's a good game. We can play it, but don't let the game take over our whole life and act as an excuse to suppress the things. Because here's the thing, everyone will clap when you make a ton of money. I mean, not really, but in our minds, like our parents are proud of us and it's easy to measure. But some of the things like being a good dad or whatever, or like writing my book that no one might buy, I don't know if anyone's gonna clap. So it's harder to make sacrifices and dedicate my life to those things. But that doesn't mean they're less important. That's what's so hard, is that when I see the number, it's so easy. You're like, ding, 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 it's like points. It's like, you know, Mario coins or whatever. Like there's this instant gratification and pats on the back. And I feel myself like getting stuff. I'm way over time on this. You guys get the point. Thanks for listening. Let me know if you want to hear more of these money thoughts. Well, you're probably going to hear them either way. We'll see you guys next time.